Hello everybody, it is Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers and it is 7 p.m. on Saturday, which means it is time for a Facebook Live video. So I'm going to just refresh over here on the left and be sure that I am in fact transmitilating, and it would appear that I am. So I've got us all pulled up so we'll be able to see when people comment or have questions. And we'll go ahead and get started. So this is the card that I gave you the sneak peek of this morning. Hey Jenny, appreciate you joining. And it uses a couple of different sets. So the stack, when you see it tomorrow, there's a big old stack, but it's just 2 bundles and a stamp set. Hi Debbie, how are you? So I've used the cool knit together background stamp. You can see it looks like, well, a knit sweater. It goes with the knit sweater dies. And then I've also used the Pretty Pumpkins bundle that is bundled with the Detailed Pumpkins dies. Goodness. Hello, Vicky and Jenny and Joan. Appreciate y'all joining. Hi, Margaret. Hello, Linda. Appreciate you coming. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Hi, Faith. Haha, yes, I'm back to my wheelhouse. Collages. All right, so I also used the gorgeous leaves. I don't know, this is like, to me, one of the most perfect pairings of stamp bundles ever. All right, I love these leaves. I love these pumpkins. I really love the sentiment, so buy them together. Just throwing that out there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Nacy and Susan, and thank you, Margaret. Hi, Wendy from Wales. Glad to be having you on live. That's nice. Hello, Susan. How are you? And Lisa. Hello. All right, so I'm going to set those aside. Find a place to set them aside. And we're going to get started. We're going to play with the Stampopotamus here a little bit today. So I have this is kind of vanilla on vanilla on vanilla. Hey, Gian. Appreciate you joining. And what I have done is I have one panel that I have already embossed in the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder, and that's going to be adhered directly to the card front. And let's go ahead, we'll just go ahead and do that right quick before we get going with the Stampopotamus. Let me find my seal. Where did I put my seal? There you are. Okay. So I'm just going to adhere that straight to the thick, very vanilla. Oh, sorry. Ooh, got a piece of I don't know even what. Caught in my throat. Might be dirt. I was outside all day. Had a lovely day at the carriage driving club event. It was down at a gorgeous farm in Pine Mountain, very near Callaway Gardens. You guys familiar with Callaway Gardens? Very beautiful place. If you ever get to Georgia / Alabama, it's really close to the Alabama border, but it's in Georgia. Callaway Gardens is a beautiful place to go. They have got azaleas upon azaleas upon azaleas, and then they planted some more azaleas. So in the spring when they're blooming, they are stunning. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and then I have a smaller piece of Very Vanilla, and this is actually 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to use a little bit of my favorite non-Stampin' Up thing, which is, hey Tanya, appreciate you coming. Hi Rosie. Some of the repositionable tape runner dot doohickeys, and I'm just going to adhere this in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, this sort of came about, a little bit of this came about accidentally. I wanted to stamp this, and I did it in Sahara sand, which was fine. So we're going to start that. And then I realized, there you go. Hey, Nisi. Yeah, Callaway Gardens is gorgeous. I realized that I should pick that up before I try to ink it because it won't work. I realized that my Sahara sand was too dark. So I turned it over. So this was kind of accidental, but it turned out to be a really good accident. Okay, so using my Stamparatus, I stamped once in full strength Sahara sand, like so. Hey Sharon, hi Vicky. All right, and then I picked it up. See how dark it is? It was just too dark. So I thought, well, I'll just turn the panel over. And I just made sure there were no adhesive dots on here, and there weren't. And I'm just going to stick it back. Doesn't really matter if it's in the exact right spot, but, you know, close, just so it all gets covered. And then I'm going to, well, I'm going to make sure it's a little more squared up than that. Okay, right there, sounds good. Then I'll go ahead and stamp it again. So then what I ended up with was a real nice stamped off once image. Hi Nioka, hi Chris. Which was exactly what I wanted. Much more diffused, okay? So then I wanted to vintagize it a little bit. And what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to tear the edge. Now, I really did not measure how much I tore. I mean, it kind of tears the same every time, right? Remember my little tip? Once you decide that you're going to tear a certain direction, you can see I'm tearing towards me. You want to stay that direction because that keeps the torn edge looking the same all the way around. Now, on a different kind of card, once I did this, you might come back with your blending brushes and add a little bit of blending to the edges. But I didn't want to do that because I really wanted it to just sort of blend in to the background. Okay. Thank you, Kay. How are you from North Carolina? Hi, Lenny. And Chris from Australia. Cool. All right. And one more side. Like this. I like it like this this time without the additional blending because it's sort of vintage but not grunge vintage. How about that? All right, and then what I did is I like to do a little tear in the corners and lay it down, and look what happens. Now, if I hadn't had this image here, this would just be a plain vanilla look, and it just wouldn't have been as cool looking, right? So it turned out to be kind of a fun thing that I didn't even intend to do, so it was kind of a happy little mistake. And I just really did kind of 3 little spots right here. Like that. And if you like a little bit more, you can absolutely do a little bit more. I'm not doing a little bit more. I'm doing that much right there. And then I'm going to pop this on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay? And then you'll be happy to know that I have done quite a bit of stamping and cutting ahead of time so that you don't have to watch that nonsense, because that's easy stuff. And we're just going to spend a little time. Well, I am going to have to do a little fussy cutting. That'll be okay. You can handle it. I'm sure you can handle it. All right, and I'm going to pop this onto my card front. Now, usually I would build my collage on this and then put this on last after I made sure I hadn't screwed up the inside. But this is so small, and I want it to overhang as much as it does, and so I wanted to build it on the card itself. Okay, so you just have to be kind of careful when you're doing it. You know, think it through a little bit. Think it through so you put the inside in straight and where it's supposed to be. Okay, and then we're going to put this on straight. I've done it in the past where I've angled it, but this is just straight. Okay, so now I've got some pieces and some parts. So let me give you a little inventory of what we've got here. From the Detailed Pumpkins dies, I have in Blackberry Bliss a large detailed pumpkin, which I love so very, very much. And I have a Cajun Craze more solid pumpkin. And I have an Early Espresso leaf. Okay. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to assemble my pumpkin. And I saw this. It was a really cute little sample that we saw in Maui when we were getting to see the new catalog, right? So this pumpkin, they used a little twirly twirl of, well, they used the crumb cake baker's twine, but I'm out of crumb cake baker's twine, so I used linen thread. So here's how to make a stem, a little tendril, if you will. A little pumpkin tendril. I took a glue dot and I put it right there, and then I stuck this little length of, that's too far, this little length of linen thread right there on that glue dot. Okay, And then I'm going to take, hey Debbie, it's one of mine too. Little dab will do ya, of liquid glue, and I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm just going to give that like a twirl. Like so. And let it sit there until it adheres. Okay. I got a little carried away unfurling it. Don't unfurl it until after you've adhered it. Don't be like me. Don't be goofy like me, okay? Do not be goofy like me. Okay, and I'm just gonna put a little more liquid glue right there, like that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take that off. It's just a little tiny piece of linen thread, so I'm gonna take it off of there. And I'm gonna try to do it, you know, like righter, more rightly. Less wrongly. I had it way wrongly, so I'm gonna do it rightly here. Let's try that again. Put it on my glue dot and twirl it around and let it stick with that little dot of liquid glue like that. Okay, and then just leave it until the liquid glue adheres. Now put a second glue dot right here. Trim this end. If you want to measure better and only use a little tiny bit, you can do that. And then take your early espresso leaf and kind of thread it onto the stem like so. Okay, and then you've got a real cute little tendril. I'm going to snip that off like that. And then we're going to give it just a little unfurling like that. And it's ready to go. Okay, so there's those two pumpkins. Thank you. Hi, Trudy. Hi, Janet. Hi, Daryl. Welcome. And everybody, Daryl just joined our Critters and Creatin' Crew team. Yay! Woohoo! Daryl understood that the time is growing short to get that extra bundle. Daryl, what extra bundle did you pick? I got to know. Inquiring minds want to know which free bundle you ordered. Okay, now from the Intricate Leaves die set, I have made 2 crumb cake branches. I have made 2 bumblebee leaves and an early espresso leaf. Then I stamped on Very Vanilla in bumblebee a leaf and a leaf, and in early espresso a leaf. And then from the early, Expressions in Ink ephemera pack, I have 2 gold leafies. Finally, and here's the one that's going to be kind of fun to play with. We got 2 Daryls now. Yes. Yay, Daryls. This is 3 lengths of linen thread braided together and knotted at the end. And then I kind of frayed the edges, okay? And we're going to kind of cut these to fit as we get them onto the card base. Okay, so you guys see the pieces, the parts, the things, the whatnots. Now we're going to go ahead and start laying it out. And you know my secret. I get things laid out, and when my brain goes, yep, there it is, I take a picture of it, okay? But I'm using my sample as my guide here, so I'm not going to do that, but I am going to lay things out so that I can see how they want to go. Make sure it's going to be just as good on this one as it was on the other one. I do love a collage card. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Love them so much. I love clean and simple, but those are just hard for me because my brain keeps going, add more, add more, add more. Whoop, there it is. Exactly. Didn't they make a song about that? I'm pretty sure that must have been about crafting, right? It must have been about crafting, I'm pretty certain. All right. And then this one's going to go down here like that. Now, I am going to put this like so. And then we're going to run this little thread dooha across there in a very, very artsy manner. It's going to be about like that. Okay. And then we'll put this on top. And then we're going to have our sentiment. Now, I don't like seeing quite all that much stuff back there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim both these stems. Those are stems. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Add more. Exactly. Ah, we have a male Daryl and a female Daryl. I think that is so cool. And let's see, if I'm getting it, Daryl, you only have one R, and our male counterpart, Daryl, has two R's, so that'll be the distinguisher. All right. Well, I am just tickled to death to have all of you on the team. That is awesome. All right. So that's going to go here. All of my stamps are falling down. Before I get going on that, I'm going to make my sentiment. So I stamped the sentiment from Pretty Pumpkins in Blackberry Bliss on Berry Vanilla. And I was going to fussy cut the whole thing. And as I was fussy cutting around, I realized it was perfectly spaced, especially with a real hard, close fussy cut to divide these into two. So that is what I did. All right, and so we're going to do it again. That's how we're going to do. So I'm just kind of going along real close to the sentiment and kind of following the shape. Now, it's been a minute since I've talked about fussy cutting. You'll see I've got the cardstock clear back at the fulcrum of the where the two blades come together. You don't want to fuss. Sometimes you got to get way out here if you're reaching into a little tight spot, but for the most part, you're going to get better results that are going to make you happier if you keep your cardstock right up against the fulcrum of the blades. And then you're going to turn the cardstock. You see how I'm turning the cardstock with my left hand? All right. Not turning the scissors. Now, of course, there are times when you have to turn the scissors. Do what you got to do. Why? What do I say? It's paper, people. It's paper and ink. Make it do what you want it to do. But for the most part, you want to turn the cardstock with your left hand or your off hand and keep the scissors straight. Now, it will also help the fewer times you stop your line of cutting and have to restart, then the happier you're going to be. It's going to be a much smoother edge. Okay, but sometimes you do what you got to do, and so here we go. Just try to keep it smooth and easy. Okay, there we go. And we're getting around the F, and right about here is when I was like, ooh, I could just go straight across there and cut this into two pieces. And so that was what I did. I'm bold like that. I'm bold and spontaneous. All right. And there's sentiment number uno. Hello, Amanda. Slept in a little bit, but I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. And hello, Chris. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. Hi, Alicia. All right, so let's go ahead and cut this part out. All right. Now, it's also very important when you're fussy cutting. You're going to want to get a notebook out and a pencil. I'll wait while you do that. I really want you to take this down. Okay? Y'all give me a thumbs up when you're ready to take this note. Thank you, Vicki. Are you ready? I didn't see any thumbs up, but I'm going to assume that they were happening while I was not looking. It's really important, I can't foot stomp this enough, that you hold your mouth just right. Okay, and I prefer the tongue sticking out the left side of my mouth, gently clamped between my teeth. Now that could be because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you may feel more comfortable with your tongue stuck out the right side of your mouth. So just figure out which tongue placement is more conducive to good fussy cutting. Okay? See why I wanted you to write that down? Because it's important stuff. And I'm just following this little Y tail around. And then I'm going to come back up and go along the top of this sentiment, just like that. Alrighty. There. All right, you guys get gone. And now I'm going to start putting it together. Now, I'm going to try to remember that, because I don't remember things very good apparently these days. All right. So Finney had a big time today. He had never seen horses hitched and driven to carriages. So it took him a second, and he was giving them kind of the furry eyeball. I'm just saying. He's the poor guy who I say, congrats ladies to, because yes, exactly. I have to keep remembering. Merriest Memories. Nice. That's a great one, Daryl. Yeah, I have to keep remembering to not say, hey ladies. And I'm so happy that we have Daryl on. A male Daryl and a female Daryl. I'm just tickled by that. Not every team gets a guy. So we're kind of like special that way. Just saying. And oh my goodness, I hope I didn't offend you, Daryl. Gosh. But I am tickled. It's always fun. Always fun. And I'm just using a little liquid glue and putting them kind of right back where I had them. Or, you know, not exactly where I had them, depending on how good a job I'm doing, which isn't always great. One thing to remember when you're playing with these foil die cuts, whether you have die cut foil sheets or whether you're using them from an ephemera pack or whatever, if you're using foil, really try not to get glue on the front. It's darn near impossible to get it off without it kind of leaving a mark, okay? So I'm just throwing that out there. Try to not get glue on the front there. Usually I'm pretty cavalier with stuff, but I try to be careful when I am using the foil. All right? Yeah, it would make good antlers, exactly. And you are correct, Heidi. His cards are awesome. Hopefully we'll start seeing cards from our second Daryl on our page too. All right, so really, this is really high-tech stuff right here. Smear on glue, add leaf. Now, it's a little more tricky here because you don't want to get glue all over the place, but you can kind of see how I did that, where I just kind of just very lightly went across it and it kind of spread it. Remember, Tombow glue is really, really sticky. So you don't need a whole ton, I'm just saying. All right, and then I'll pick this guy up, his counterpart, and add some Tombow there. Alrighty. All right. I'm gonna just go ahead and channel Matthew McConaughey. All right. Actually, I think he says that too much now. It's like, it's just too much, dude. Get over it. Come on. Oh wait, I got another gold leaf to add. I had a gold leaf that I almost forgot. There you go. Yeah, glue dots would work good here, but I've got the glue out and I'm too lazy. So if you want to use a glue dot, you absolutely can. You know why? Because it's your card. You can do what you want. That's exactly right. That is the beauty. One of the beautiful things about making cards is you can make them however makes you happy. Oh, so happy. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and make adhere my, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use liquid glue for this too. I'm gonna adhere my rope. I'm not sure what to call it, but it's like a rope. It's like a rope. All right, and we'll just let that go there, and then I'm gonna go here. And then I'm gonna go right there. That's the exact perfect spot. Okay, now I'm just going to hold that for a little bit. You are not last. Hi, Sue. So you guys are now vying for the most late to the video. Okay. I mean, everybody is very competitive. That is true. And we'll just give that a little snippy snip right there. And I'm going to play with it to fray it out, but not until after it has, adhered is the word I'm looking for. Okay. Now I'm going to put, I realized I really wanted that under there like that, so I'm going to let it pick up. Okay. See, I know it's hard to believe. I also make errors. All right, so I'm just going to put some liquid glue on here, on the edges, like so. And then slide that in and stick it down. And then we'll give this another little glue-de-doo right there. Right there. Right there's the glue-de-doo. Okay. And then I'm going to pop this pumpkin on with some dimensionales. Wanda, Facebook is a little bit weird. I will get notices of posts that people get and comments and whatnot like 2 days after the post. Not only is it 2 days after the person posted it, it's 2 days after I replied to the comment. So I totally I feel your pain, girl. I do. I don't know what is up. If it's wanting to be a social media icon, it probably needs to get its shiitake together. Just saying. Yeah, I said it, Mark. I'm not impressed, dude. Just saying. All right, so now we'll just pull these off. I don't know why it does that. Facebook changes stuff all the time. Yeah, I know it. And I've got everything. Yeah, I have the same problem. And I go back and I check, and all my notifications are set right. And I mean, to their credit, they do notify me. Nowhere on there does it say, right away. We're going to notify you, right away. They don't say that. That's for sure that they do not claim that. All right. Oops. I've stuck my finger to that. Oops. Okay. Here we go. And then we will just lay this right here. I like it right there. All right. And then I'll put a little bit of a piece of dimensional right here. Got to cut that. It needs to be even smaller than a half. This is why you have to have fractions in school, so that you know how much of a dimensional. I know. That's why I'm so happy to have my blog, because at least with the blog, I know what it's doing. Oh, and I put this on the wrong end. What a dork. At least with my blog, I can link you guys back to the, right? I can send you right to the blog site, or to the video link. So that is very good, because yeah, Facebook is not really doing us any real big favors here, just saying. Which is why Facebook will never be my primary means of communicating with you guys. All right, and then we're going to put this right about here. Like so. And then wheel, where's the rest of it? Hang on a second, it's right here somewhere. There it is. Whew. I was going to be really bummed if I had to redo that. Hey Holly, appreciate you joining. Thank you, Marva. Alrighty, and here is the second part of our sentiment, like a shoe. And I decided I wanted it to do that right there. Okay, and then you can take your pick tool if you like, or your tweezers if you have it. Take the little sharp end and run it through these little ends of the linen thread to open it up and give it a little better look. A little less structured, a little more laid back, casual, kind of, fall-y, not F-O-L-L-Y, but F-A-L-L-Y. All right, and there is the card front. All right, so you could also get jiggy if you wanted to with some of the brushed metallic dots, but I actually thought it was good right here. So for the inside, I'm going to use my Stamparatus again, and this sentiment on a piece of very vanilla. We'll make sure that I've got it straight